Hey Hofstra fans, welcome to the W.B. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. My name is Kevin Dexter, joined alongside, as always, by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey Team, Angelis. Coach, how are you today?
Doing well.
And Coach, this past week, just one game for your team. You do lose to Maine this past Sunday, and a tough one. They're a very good team, but what were your overall thoughts on the game?
Well, obviously we're disappointed in the loss, and we wanted to win the game, and then we were looking to, hey, maybe we've got this outside chance for at-large bid. But I'm really happy of our performance overall for 70 minutes, and we showed a lot of character and never to give up at any point in the game and to play as hard as we could for 70 minutes. So there's a lot to take away from the game.
And of course, they're a top 10 team in the country. You mentioned having an outside shot at them at an at-large bid. You don't pick up the win, but is there still hope for that going forward? Still have a couple of big games left.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, plus the CAAs are an automatic qualifier for us, so one, we have to get in,
right.
But we're excited and looking forward to moving on from Maine.
And you take a little bit of a closer look at the game against Maine. It seemed like in the statistical categories, Maine was winning, but your team was still able to hang tough and only had the 1-goal loss. So is there any sort of moral victory in that even though statistically they were a better team, that you were able to hang with them?
Oh, absolutely. I after even watching the film several times, it was a fantastic game, and both teams played a very solid game, and I think unfortunately they capitalized one more time than we did, and we had a difficult time sustaining that lead. We would get the lead, but sustaining it for a longer period of time. Maine capitalized, and credit how they performed, but again, I think we played truly a great game, and it was a huge game for us as far as experience goes in all preparation for Northeastern on Friday.
Well, of course, you mentioned Northeastern coming up here in a couple of days. You have, again, another week or so off that you've had the last couple of weeks of practice. What are the biggest things that you guys were focusing on in practice in preparation for a tough Huskies team?
Right. Well, what is really important is that we've set a standard, we've set the bar to where we need to be, and it is working for us, and we're attaining that every day. And it's real important when we go to practice that the practices that we attain that bar in practice. So we are getting better and even looking to get stronger. So the practices this week have been very intense, and they're going to continue to be very intense. And the more we can play at that level and under pressure during the practice is only going to prepare us for the CAA. So that's really what we've been mostly working on.
In the game against Maine, of course, you did lose, but it was a non-conference game. So you guys are still sitting 4-1 in conference play going into a big conference game against Northeastern. Is that something that you spoke to the team about as far as, let's forget Maine, yes, it was a loss, but we're still sitting in the same winning streak in conference play?
Well, absolutely. It's something where, fortunately, it was a non-conference game, and what we can learn from that is, like the CAAs, and when you get into the championship, once you lose, you're out. Mm-hmm. And even getting in, these games are marginal. So just that feeling of what it felt to not come away with a win is something that I think is important to experience, because in order for you to succeed, you have to fail. No one ever expected this to be a perfect season, and I don't think anyone does. So we can learn from that, and really hope that it empowers us for Friday.
And Northeastern, of course, sitting 3-2 in the CAA. You guys are 4-1, a battle for second place, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first off, it's the last home game for many of your seniors. How special is that going to be for your team, especially in a game that really is going to mean something come time for the CAAs?
Well, I think having the senior day be on such an important game, I think really goes in our factor, and I think it's really our emotions are going to be very high in that game, and I know we're going to get the best out of not just all the seniors, but everyone on that day. And it's always a bittersweet time, and it's something where we've got to remove ourselves from the emotions and the feeling of what's actually happening, right, and that this is the last home game for these seniors, but we still got a few weeks to go, and when we have to be able to be focused and ready once that buzzer goes. So. And
Coach, can you just talk a little bit about the seniors going into their last home game and how much they've meant to the program, not just this season, but in their time here?
Absolutely. Well, they this particular group, I mean, you've got Amy Lee, who's actually in the 5th year right now, but we have, with this group that is graduating, this potentially is going to be our 3rd CAA championship in the past of their 4 years. So we're looking forward to having that happen and attaining that goal, and for us to be able to be where we were ranked, nationally ranked 2 years ago. We got in, we had 17 or 18 freshmen and sophomores a year ago, and we continue to perform through a lot of adversity with injuries, and this team has been through a lot. And I think what is really nice to see in their senior year, we are having such a breakout year and the best of all 4 years, and it's just a credit to this group and their performance as we've continued to elevate, and that you love to see that. And like I said, we're moving up and we're getting stronger, and this is going to be the best year that they could potentially ever have in the senior year. So I think that's exciting, and what more can you ask for?
And the game against Northeastern on Friday, of course, as I said before, they're 3-2 in conference play. You're 4-1, really battling for second place as of right now. Is that any extra pressure added onto the team because of the implications in the game?
Well, every game in the CAA really brings on, a certain degree of pressure, and we also know Northeastern's a strong team, and we're not going to. We know that we have to come either way with our best performance, but I think having them at home, I think, is huge for us, and we've really had. This home stretch has been fantastic. We've had some of our best games at home, so I think we have to use that in our favor, and we have a lot of confidence at home, and I think that's real important to Friday's match.
Is there anything that you're taking from the experience of playing another very good team in Maine on Sunday into the game against Friday? Any sort of similar strategies that you'll employ against Northeastern from Maine?
Well, we've had such a strength of schedule, and you can't just look at the last couple of games. We have to look from UConn and Stanford and Albany and these teams that we have played, and it has been truly the schedule that has really propelled us and prepared us for where we want to be right now, and where we're really excited to be standing in having already 4 wins in the CAA. So it's been a process, really. It's not just about the last few games. It's been a process that we've really adapted to and made some wonderful things happen this year. So.
And with the Northeastern game, then there's 2 games coming up after that. Has there been you seem to be shuffling your lineup seemingly the entire season. Have you started to have a clear idea that if you guys pick up a couple of wins to clinch that CAA championship, which as I didn't mention yet, if you do win on Friday, it does clinch a berth in the CAA tournament for you guys. Have you have a clearer idea of who will be on the field when it comes to time for that CAA tournament?
Well, I think in this particular year, we've said this from day one, that we have an incredibly strong unit all over the field, and we have a tremendous amount of depth, and we have players that add different things to different games. And for us, we've had for the most part, the structure in the lineup has stayed somewhat the same, and why should we change anything? We're winning, and we're winning big and scoring a lot of goals, and we're doing a lot of great things. So, it's not just 1 or 2 players that are making a difference. It's really the team, and that's for us to be able to do that and have the versatility of different players is what's helping us win, and that's been just a coach's dream this year.
And as I said before, the fact that a win on Friday will clinch a berth into the CAA tournament and give you a chance to go down to possibly Norfolk, possibly here, depending on who comes in first place, to get that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Is that something that's definitely been a motivation factor for you and the team?
Oh yeah, every day, every day. Something that we talk about sometimes on the field and mostly off the field, but just to be in consideration for even an at-large, I think is something. It's really a credit how we performed all year round, and we've been talking about that every single game, to get better, to push yourselves physically and mentally, and also to have the team chemistry that we have, which is it's really been just the icing on the cake and helping us perform and get to just high levels. It's just been great.
Well, Coach, Friday against Northeastern, as we spoke about, going to be a big one for you guys. What is going to be the key to coming away with a victory?
Well, we have to keep doing what we're doing, and there's really not much to change on that. We're really understanding, and we've been talking about this since day one, that in real critical games, just a little, and especially games where Northeastern has having a fantastic year. They are truly sound in so many areas. They're well coached, and we know it's going to be a huge game for us. But just a critical error or a little letdown for a second can change and dictate what can happen in the game. So it's important that we can keep and maintain and sustain the focus for the entire 70 minutes, and if it goes into more, we've got to be able to do that. And I think if we can really do that and use each other on the team to push ourselves through that, I feel real good for the match on Friday.
Well, Coach, 3 o'clock on Friday. It is senior day. It is against Northeastern, a big one, and the best of luck this week against Northeastern.
Great. Thanks, Kevin.
And thank you for tuning in to the W.B. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com.